Okay, welcome moon lovers. This is Curious Cat, and today we are taking our 8 minutes to discuss an important key to unlock some magic. Our topic is initiative, and we are in the first quarter moon phase, and we're actually talking about personal power. So, how are you doing this morning, Imber?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. Feeling powerful.
Oh, I love it. Yes, great place to be. So the keys that we work through each cycle are courage and empowerment, self-empowerment, actually. And so with us talking about reclaiming your personal power, I have a question for you. Are you
All
ready?
right. I am ready. Shoot.
Are you ready? Okay. So what specific risk are you willing to take to be happy? That's kind of
What
a,
specific
yeah,
risk?
risk. Yes.
What specific risk am I willing to take to be happy? Well, obviously, I am taking a moment to consider this because anything I'm willing to do anything to be happy, well, outside of hurting someone else, right? So a specific risk comes to mind of ensuring that I have time to myself each day, as I was born and raised an only child, meaning I've had siblings, but I wasn't raised with them. So that personal time is really important to me, and that is what empowers me. So to risk setting that boundary and not allow people to cross that boundary when I know I need my personal space is really important to me. So that risk, whether that's going to hurt someone's feelings or make them feel as though their time is not worthy, is something that I'm willing to take because of my focus on communication skills for a long time. I've been focused on that where, I can make it softer. I tend to be very blunt. So I've hurt people's feelings in the past. And I'm smiling because Kathy, you may know that. I probably have done that to you a time or two. Of like, no, I need this. Leave me alone. Um, but I'm willing to take the risk of making sure that it's not that I'm hurting someone, it's that I'm communicating with them to make sure that I always have that personal space, because I've got to be feeling strong before I can help other women, men, people feel empowered as well.
Yes.
And you know what I find interesting, and I have a question for you on this too in a second. What I find interesting is that there's a difference in empowerment and self-empowerment, and I'd
Yes.
like to take a second to talk about that if I'm not cut off on time, which I forgot to do the timer today.
All right. Okay.
So I'm trying to do it real quick.
Right.
Um, so, but what that like to feel empowered, you sometimes can come from outside sources, right?
Yes.
Someone pays you a compliment, for example. Last week we were talking about our inner strength and our inherent beauty. If someone pays you a compliment, kind of can makes you feel comfortable in yourself and a little empowered, right? So that's coming from an outside source. But a self-empowerment is something that we do for ourselves that make us feel strong, and that we can tap into anytime we need that extra confidence. So that is one thing that, is my personal time and space is really important, whether it be for meditation, whether it be for, I take a lot of time in the morning to do kind of my personal energetic work that helps me through the day, where I always joke, if I never have that, I would probably kill people throughout the day.
Right.
Um, Rude, but yeah, see, back to those, those boundaries. I'm not willing to risk that. However, I'm not willing to risk that time. But I throwing a question back to you about how do you feel the difference in like the power and empowerment, the self-empowerment and outside empowerment?
I feel exactly the same as you because, as I mentioned before, standing behind the chair in my past career was helping people to have that empowerment,
Yeah.
but also that self-empowerment, because if I could spark that little light, like I said, within them as I work my magic on the outside of them, then that really was like that beautiful whole package. And so I really,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And
I
go
just like
ahead.
I like the idea of when helping others find their empowerment, find their self-empowerment, and helping others, it's not a matter of throwing a bunch of compliments at people and then trying to lift them up. It's giving them the building blocks, and for us to find for our own the building blocks that we can, a structure that we can always feel comfortable and confident around. And that does come from within. We have to have that structure built. So it's not about yeah, not definitely not about compliments or anything, but it's about finding strengths,
Yeah.
and there's that whole thing in school of like when you learn things, when you're in a setting where you're constantly learning, there are a few ways to teach, and we tend to learn better when we focus on our strengths
Yes.
versus, well, you got an F on that on your test, so you have to do it all over again, and you end up having to learn the same stuff all over again. And well, why did you get an F? Like where did you do well in that? Where were your questions that you got right? And how can we focus on that? How can we focus on strengths?
Yes. A really big part that you pointed out was the boundaries. I think that even because you find your strengths through boundaries, in my opinion, it's like because what's yours and what's someone else's,
Mm.
and making that really important distinction of what is an old program and what is it that you've taken to heart, so that you are not as empowered that you could be.
Yeah, time's up.
All right.
Yeah, time's up. And I know that we covered a lot in that short amount of time. And I'm not even sure if that was a full 8 minutes or not. It might have been more, it might have been less. I don't know. But my key takeaway so far, you were just getting into the juiciness of this topic, but so far my key takeaway is making sure that I do feel confident and maybe even focusing on what my strengths are. What's your key takeaway so far?
I think it's those boundaries. I really feel like, so just pointing out the fact that you grew up as an only child and in that environment of you needed that space. So honoring each individual. So I grew up in a family of three. I was the middle kid. I never had space. And I craved that so much as an adult because I also had three children. So it's like finally, in my 50s, I am having this place where actually I may have a moment where I have what is my energy and how do I want to empower my that self-empowerment of saying, holding my boundaries of saying just exactly what you said, that alignment practice is so important for people, for everyone, I believe, saying thank you, having a moment to pull your energy in so that you can be the best version of yourself when you present it back to the world.
I always, even as a young girl would envision myself standing, and sometimes I would actually do it, but it's physically and envisioning myself, standing really tall with a wand and really creating that circle around me where nothing can penetrate in.
Love
Right.
it.
It is my strength. So utilizing that and then being able to dissolve that circle too when it is time
Mhm.
to let others in. So
When
um
you feel safe, right?
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fun topic to explore later.
Definitely.
All right, all you moonbeams listening, what's your key takeaway? What did you get out of today? And what would you like to share? We would love to hear from you. So send us a direct message, with any feedback, any of your experiences, anything you want to discuss. We'd love to hear from you. So whether it's via email, on all the socials, you can connect with us. Let us know what you are feeling. And until next week, we have a new key takeaway on the full moon. So join us then for more initiative.
All right, happy manifesting.
Happy manifesting.